I don't think Matt Coronato's agent needs to be making any more statements on Twitter because his client will be doing that right on the ice himself.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me here today. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we are going to be talking all about the masterpiece in Montreal, and we're going to be previewing tomorrow night's game against the Bruins, and I will have you covered here on Locked On Flames, so make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. I cannot stress enough how much all of you need to visit the Bell Center, Centre Bell. I was at the game last night, and I have gone to many concerts, many events, many hockey games, sporting events in stadiums, in arenas, in smaller venues. A variety of genres of music too. And I don't think I've ever been in a place as loud as the Bell Center when the Habs scored. It was incredible. The energy that flowed through that building is what I need at the Saddle Dome in this new building every night. That is what I need. That is what the Flames need. Every time the Habs shot the puck, and how many of those went off the post or Wolf made a huge save, it was like intense game 7 atmospheric vibes. It was so fun. The people were nice. I mean, I know everyone gets different cities get different reputations, and I know Montreal isn't always regarded as a visitor friendly city, but that was one of the best game experiences I've had. Even if they lost, I would say the same. But let's talk about those difference makers last night. Oh my God. Dustin Wolf. The Habs were just peppering shots left and right. And the fact that the Flames outshot the Habs was a victory in itself. But Dustin Wolf looked like he was a seasoned veteran goaltender. He was a brick wall, except obviously for 2 goals. But what a performance. He was saved by the crossbar and the post on multiple occasions, but he did great tracking the puck. He did great on the rebounds, and he did his job. And I am just thoroughly impressed with what we saw. And it wasn't before the third period, I would say that was Dustin Wolf's game. If I had to give a game puck to someone, it was going to Dustin Wolf. But obviously, Matt Coronato deserves praise up and down. He has made a statement coming in, and after being recalled, after being sent down, and there was a lot of disgruntled feelings about it from a lot of fans and seemingly his agent. He came in and proved that he deserves the spot in that lineup, and he looked great all game. He looked like he was ready to shoot through the entire game. It wasn't necessarily The only time I really felt like he was going to, like, overpass was in the overtime because I felt like it would have made sense in his mind, but, he read it correctly. He looked great, and I think that obviously that game tying goal in the 3rd was huge, humongous. Like, me and the 50 other Flames fans in that building, we were going hard, and it was so great. And right before he scored, I was like, Matt Coronato needs this so bad. Like, he needs this. He has to score. Um, and he did, not once, but twice. And he has the fastest overtime goal in franchise history and the fastest or second fastest in franchise history, as well as second fastest in league history, which is pretty cool. Like, when you think about it, that I feel like that face off, it was kind of doomed from the start for the Canadians just because it felt sloppy. Like, it looked like it just crumbled, and then, Matt Coronato got away, and he went out there, and he did his thing, and it was quick, easy, packed up, and they showered, did their media availability, and they were in Boston before 11:30. So congratulations to them. I'm glad they had a good, quick night in Montreal, and are gearing up for tomorrow's game against the Bruins. And we're going to talk more about the Bruins a little bit later because I feel like there are very big similarities between these two teams this year. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break and, of course, come back and talk about Dustin Wolf, because what is a Calgary Flames win without a stellar Dustin Wolf performance? And we will be right back after this. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded money, you can get in on the action at Prize Picks, and they have made daily fantasy accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash, and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my cash out in up to 15 minutes, as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. Download the app and use code Locked On NHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code Locked On NHL for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. Dustin Wolf's performance in Montreal really solidified the fact that he should be the starting goaltender moving forward. And I understand that Huska is doing the every other or seemingly every other game for the goaltender, but I think going with Vladar in back-to-back games gives me the impression that they may do the same with Wolf. I think that, you know, it's been enough games so far this season. They're kind of like letting the leash go, and they're going to see kind of how far it goes for both of them. I personally would like to see Dustin Wolf as your starter, whether that's every 2 games for him, 1 for Vladar, whatever the case may be there. I really feel like you should be taking advantage of Dustin Wolf's talent. And right now he's played 6 games, has 4 wins, which I know, like, not really a good goalie stat. Has a 2.99 goals against average and a 908 save percentage. You know, he's only 23 years old. This is his first full season in the NHL. And should the Flames use Wolf more, there's a very strong chance that he ends up as a Calder finalist. And that would be quite the accomplishment for Dustin Wolf. And it would really fit with the rest of his pedigree because he has shown the Flames, really shown everyone, not just the Flames, that he is capable of that high level goaltending and doing it consistently. Last year, I think, was a bit of a shaky start to his NHL career just because he was going up and down, up and down. Even though, like, he's in the same city, obviously you are adjusting to, like, different lifestyles. You know, in the AHL, you don't fly private. You don't have that luxury. You're flying commercial. And obviously, NHL, you're flying private. You have all of these amenities. You have the luxuries that you don't have in the AHL. And the quick turnaround time, it's hard, and you're not able to get acclimated in the game, build chemistry with your teammates, especially with the amount of turnover the Flames had last year, let alone on the blue line itself. So I understand why last season was what it was, and I am very curious to see how they move forward with Wolf, because I think the initial plan was to have him under Markstrom full time for like a season or two and let him get acclimated behind a true starting goaltender. But obviously there was a change of plans there, and life happens. Ultimately, you know, that was not the case. But we have to think on our feet and adjust on the fly. I'm sure the Flames did not have to adjust on the fly. I feel like there's probably many contingency plans in place for things like this. It's not just plan A, it's plan A to Z. But I understand not wanting to rush into this season just starting Wolf, you know, back to back to back to back games and wearing him out, especially where, you know, it is a very long season, and the Flames don't really have that starting goaltender that they had in Markstrom to carry the brunt of the work. So it made sense to kind of expect Wolf to play 30 games, 35 games. But now it's looking like he's going to be playing 41 or you know, around that mark. And I personally feel like you've seen enough of Wolf to know that at any point in the season, should things change, you can absolutely uh go with Wolf. Should you trade Vladar because Vladar ends up having a fantastic season and he's a pending UFA? Great. I'm sure there are many teams that would love to have, you know, a reliable goaltender like Dan Vladar. And that's where we were 2 years ago, too. Like, let's not forget that. But I think my belief, especially going into Boston tomorrow, you're starting Wolf because you're not going to play Vladar 3 out of 4 games in such close proximity, especially after just starting him back to back when he's not your starting goaltender, when you're used to doing the tandem. However, It is not, your spot is not given, it is earned. And Dustin Wolf earned the spot in the start for tomorrow night against the Bruins. And we know how Dan Vladar plays against his former team. We've seen it. I saw him shut out the Bruins back in 2021 in the flesh. It was fantastic. It was great. I was like the only Flames fan in the building, but it's okay. I had fun. Both teams, like, I won either way. But we all win if Dustin Wolf gets these NHL reps that push him and move him along in his NHL development. We know it's not a smooth road, which is why you need to iron out those wrinkles now and do what you can ahead of schedule. And like I've mentioned, we all know that Dustin Wolf has this stellar pedigree, whether it's in the WHL or the two-time AHL goaltender of the year. Ridiculous save percentages throughout his career. And while his size is a concern, I don't think he's 6 feet. I really think he's like 5'9", 5'10". But that's besides the point. I feel like his technical skills make up for that and allow him to be maybe a bit more mobile and nimble. And I would love to see some double pad stack saves like we saw for Markstrom. It's just going to take some time because he needs to get comfortable playing in the NHL and against a higher skill level. And we've talked all about this, especially over the summer. So feel free to check out any of those older Locked On Flames episodes, whether it's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platforms. Talk all about Wolf and kind of breaking down the ideas of how the Flames could approach the goaltending tandem. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with my thoughts, players to watch, and a preview ahead of tomorrow night's game against the 6-7-1 Boston Bruins. Get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place your live bets on the NFL all in one place. So if you're feeling fun tomorrow, why don't you place an anytime goal for Matt Coronato or, hey, Nazem Kadri or, a David Pastrnak, 3 shots on goal, maybe a Brad Marchand anytime goal, or our old friend Elias Lindholm. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a moment or never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts as well as YouTube. I am thrilled to be here talking about the Flames today, as I am every day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. But I figured I had this game circled on my calendar because I grew up a Bruins fan and have adopted the Calgary Flames. But I thought that this was going to be a very one-sided game. However, like I mentioned earlier, the Bruins are 6-7-1. And it's been pretty clear that there have been struggles offensively, defensively, and potentially behind the bench. I would say that there may be trouble in paradise with coaching, but I don't think that's the case just yet. I think there's a lot of new players and maybe a lack of stars showing up to play. But one thing that I've noticed is the goaltending. Jeremy Swayman and Eunice Corposalo have both been good. Like I haven't looked at either of them and been like, "Ooh, you're not very good." However, I have looked at the defense in front of them and said, "What do any of these players do?" And as we know, former Flame Nikita Zadorov is a Bruin now, and the Bruins fans have already turned on him. He took 7 games and 7 penalties, and you would have thought that man killed their family. Like, he was no one's friend. No one was a Nikita Zadorov enjoyer. And Elias Lindholm's kind of gotten this similar treatment when he's gone on like a few games without a point. But I think they're drawing similarities not just because both coaches are bald, but because they have obviously the Bruins are a very offensively talented team. They have David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, um, Elias Lindholm. Like, you have like Pavel Zacha, Charlie Coyle. Like, you have players like up and down your lineup. You should be able to score, but it hasn't been that. It's been their secondary scoring that's carried them. For the Flames, where you don't have that high end talent, you still have 4 lines that can score. Will they? I don't know. Probably not. It depends on what defense they're playing and who they're going up against. But I think they're both in different transitional phases of their rosters. And there is no truly established goaltender in either place. Jeremy Swayman has been great, but he hasn't, I don't believe he's played over, at least going into the season, over 100 NHL games. So, there's a lot of young blood mixed around, and they're both very undisciplined teams. Penalty after penalty after penalty, and it's nauseating. I don't, especially when your power play isn't good and your penalty kill is bad. Like, there's no reward in any of this. Like, you're watching meh 5-on-5 play, and you're watching the special teams 3-year fingers because it's like a horror movie. But I think truly my players to watch tomorrow night for this game would be David Pastrnak. He was benched 2 games ago, and it just did not play a single shift in the 3rd period. And we know that he responds to, you know, criticism, digs, public call outs from his coach. So, maybe that is something that'll get him going. And I feel like he could be a problem for the Flames defense. He could walk all over them. And obviously for the Flames, I would say Matt Coronato, but with Anthony Mantha being out, Kevin Rooney does slot back in. So there's going to be some adjustments with the lines, and I want to know where Martin Pospisil is going to play. The last time these two teams met, Martin Pospisil basically concussed Brad Marchand. Pot, meat, kettle, kind of situation there, but like, he has to like rein it in, and it's not an excuse to play that way. And it's not just last night's game or the next game that I'm concerned about, how long the leash is for Pospisil. Is there any accountability here? Is there any? I want to see more as well from Sharon Govich. I don't know what's going on there. Is he just shaking the dust off after getting a late start to the season, or what's cooking? And I guess, I would say goaltenders as well, because it looks like Korpisalo is going to be starting for the Bruins, and more than likely Dustin Wolf. And both of them, I mean, Korpisalo really is like a career backup, but fresh meat, I suppose, for Dustin Wolf. And I don't the Bruins penalty kill is horrendous. They allowed 3 power play goals against Toronto the other night, but the Flames power play is so horrendous that I don't think they'd be able to score. So it's very much a please just stay out of the penalty box. And the Bruins power play isn't that great either. So that kind of makes the Flames penalty kill job a little bit easier, but it is very telling. I think we're just going to watch a mess of a game tomorrow night, because whenever these two teams meet, it's either they're both falling all over themselves, or one shows up, the other doesn't, or it's like a playoff game. Like, this is personally my Stanley Cup, but like, doesn't feel the same this year. So I'm hoping that the Flames are able to pull out on top. I want to see good efforts from more. I want to see more from Coronato. I want to make sure that Dustin Wolf looks great. I want to see hustle and effort from Jonathan Huberdeau, and not half stepping it down the ice. That would be great. Would love to see some effort there. But again, Kadri and Huberdeau, 2 veterans that are here for a very long time, you're still expected to perform just because it's not, an ideal contract situation. So we will keep an eye on that as we approach tomorrow night's game, as well as the rest of the season. Make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day. And I will catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.